Greetings everyone. Today we're going to explore solving multi-step inequalities again, but this time we're going to have combining terms and distribution. Now these steps are familiar because we did all of these steps when we solved equations. The difference now is we're going to have an inequality symbol. We do have a note sheet. If you don't have it in front of you, just make sure to jot these down in your own notebook. All right, let's take a look and fill in some steps. Our first step today that we're going to add back in, it's been a little bit, is we're going to eliminate parentheses by distribution. We've been working on that for a while now, so I know you're familiar with it. Next, we're going to continue to combine like terms. Oof, I can't write. Like terms, there we go. We're going to undo any addition or subtraction. We're going to undo any multiplication or division. And the special rule for inequalities is if you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the symbol. Now, if you need a little more help with that new rule, you'll want to see the previous videos. My request is that you write your answer with the variable first. So this is what I've been talking about in class as the flip-flop, meaning if I have an answer of 2 is less than x, let's flip it around to say x is greater than 2. All right, quick little refresher. Remember when combining like terms, if you use boxes or circles or lines, make sure you include the symbol, meaning if it's a -4, subtract 4, that creates a -2. A +3, subtract 1 will give me a +2. Another quick refresher, again, see a previous video if you need more help with this. Just remember to show me the distribution. When we distribute, we're multiplying, but most importantly, pay attention to the signs. A negative times a negative is a positive 10y. All right, let's combine all of this into one problem. So we're going to start by drawing a line down our inequality symbol. Today's steps, we're going to start with distribution. So a 5 times x and a positive 5 times positive 6. Now if we didn't use it, it falls down. Next up, we want to combine like terms. I see that I have a -3 and a positive 30 on the same side. So when I combine those, I have a positive 27. Everything else falls down. Now we're down to our 2 steps. Undo any addition or subtraction. Instead of positive 27, let's subtract 27. Opposites go away. If I subtract, I have 10. 5x falls down. And lastly, division. Instead of times 5, let's divide 5. So I arrive at an x, inequality symbol falls down, and a 2. Now my request to help us with this graphing process is let's flip-flop. Totally a mathematical term, right? If I flip the x's first followed by the 2, and I'm stay pointing to the x, right? I'm not changing anything, I'm just writing it another way, which means on my number line, I'm talking about the number 2. It's going to remain open and we're going to go left. If you need help with the graphing piece of this, please see the graphing video. Let's go through some steps again. First step, new step today that we're adding in is distribution. Now I chose this example because we're distributing a -4. -4. So our signs are going to make a big difference in this process. Our next step is I can combine things. I've got 8 violins, subtract 4 violins, so I have 4 violins. Everything else falls down. Let's undo any addition or subtraction. Instead of -32, let's add 32. Now I know I'm going through some of this a little bit faster because these later steps we've been working on for a while. So the last step, as usual, is division. Instead of times 4, let's divide 4. Opposites go away, V falls down, and a 10 falls down. The letter's first, so that's good. There is no flip-flopping on this one. So if I look at my number line, I'm going to have an closed circle, and we're talking greater than, so I'm going to go to the right. All right, let's take a look at example 3. Let's draw a line down the inequality symbol. Our first step that we're adding back into the mix today is distribution. Be very careful. I'm distributing a negative 8. Negative 8 times 1. Negative 8 times positive 7. We're going to have some larger numbers. That's okay. Still follow through with the steps as always. Our next step, I see I can combine some like terms. They're already on the same side, so we just put them together. If I have a negative 5 and negative 56, I now have negative 61n's. Again, feel free to use your calculator if you're not sure. Type it in exactly as you see it. The negative 8 falls down. This negative 8 falls down. That sounds interesting, but let's go through the steps. Next, we want to undo some addition or subtraction. Instead of subtract a number 8, we're going to add a number 8. Opposites go away. Negative 61n falls down, and normally I'd say opposites go away. Those are opposites, but I need something, right? I'm not done. What is negative 8 plus 8? It's 0. So if you need something there, you can't leave it empty, then we write 0. Our last step is same as all the other problems. Instead of times negative 61, let's divide by negative 61. Opposites go away. 0 divided by anything. Oops, I made a mistake. Hold on. What did we just divide by? We just divided by a negative. Special rule time. If you divide by a negative, you flip the sign. So make that bold and obnoxious. Make it stand out. Even though 0 divided by anything is 0 and my number stays 0, that sign flip was so important because look at how it affects my graph. At 0, I'm going to be open, but now I'm going to go to the right. See how that makes a difference? If I wouldn't have flipped the sign, I'd be going to the left. And again, what this means is, the whole point of this means that 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 7, 8, 100, 1 million, all the numbers to the right are solutions to that inequality. Meaning if I substitute them in for n, they'll work. They'll make it true. They'll make it a good inequality. Let's try one more, all right? Bear with me here. Let's start off with our step we're reintroducing, which is distribution. 5 times 1, 5 times 4. Everything else falls down. Let's combine like terms. I see I have positive 20 and negative 2. If I have 20 mermaids and I subtract 2 mermaids, I have 18 mermaids. See, if you can provide a context to the letter, it kind of makes it a little easier almost, right? And it would be a positive 18. I do need a symbol there, right? All right, next up, undo any addition or subtraction. Instead of positive 5, let's minus 5. Opposites go away. We've got a negative 18 and 18. Our last step, instead of times 18, let's divide by 18. Now that 18 I just wrote in blue is positive, so no special rule. Opposites go away, symbol falls down. A negative 18 divided by a positive 18 is a negative 1. Now my request is we're going to flip-flop the entire answer, meaning I'm writing it another way. If I was pointing to the 1, I stay pointing to the 1. These have the same meaning, right? We're just writing it another way, and we write it another way so it helps me graph. Because now if I look at the graph, a closed dot goes on negative 1, and we're greater than, so we're going to go to the right. All right, so the nice thing about this lesson, you guys are familiar with all of these steps already. So this really should be a refresher of the combination of all these steps. So make sure if you need more help, see my other videos. Check out Google Classroom to see what your task is at hand today. Let me know if you have any questions, and until next time, have a good one.